It is my great pleasure today to have Asha Bonaya, a Daraja graduate, with us. And rather than me doing a lot of talking, Asha, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to the world and to share your story with them.
Cool. I'm Asha Bonaya Liban. I am from the northeastern part of Kenya, specifically Marsabit County. It's one of the marginalized areas in Kenya with lots of insecurities, especially cattle rustling and lots of killings here and there. Yeah. So, coming from such an environment, it's always even tricky for kids to go to school, come from schools. So at times, school end up closing down because of the insecurities around. Yeah, people fighting over resources because they are scarce. It's arid area,
So, resources, what do you mean?
water and pasture.
Because most people
People,
have
yeah,
cows and
yeah,
camels, and it's a dry area, so there's
yeah,
only so much grass and so much water.
yeah.
Yeesh.
So having come from such an environment is really tricky, even in studies. Yeah,
So, what was your family like? Take us back, because I know Asha the Great,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Especially now, you're doing some incredible things. But I want to know about little Asha. Asha, which is a beautiful name, and then you have Bonaya, which means she was born in a drought. So she's a drought girl, which is, I think, a very appropriate, because you're bringing water, spiritual and cultural and social water to an arid area, right?
Yeah.
All right, so drought girl, tell us about what it was like growing up.
I'm from a family of three. I have an elder sister, me and my younger brother. Uh, Raised by mom after dad passed away when I was in grade 5 in 2011. So dad was a pastoralist, keeping some cattle. So after he fell sick and passed away, the family of the father took away all the cattle and also sent away mom who to come back and stay with my grandmother, her mom. So from there, life turned into something different. Going to school and having even the uniform, and mom having come from an illiterate family, like no one went to school, from a family of 8.
Nobody.
Yeah, and after some time now others got a chance, and her being the firstborn girl in the family and coming from a community that believed that girls should not be educated, she never got a chance. She was married off to someone who she didn't like and much older than her. That was my dad, who was much older. He passed on at around 87 years of age.
And how old was your mom?
Yes,
How old was your mom?
around 45.
Wow, so wow.
Yeah.
So he was in his 60s when she was in her 20, or turning 20. And when was she married, would you guess?
So my sister.
In her teens?
Yeah, most probably.
So a man in
Because
his
she's
late
the
50s.
she's the firstborn of the girls. She was left first, taking care of the cattle around, and then later married off. Yeah. So that's the problem in the community, that you don't get to choose your spouse. It's like they are most probably giving you out in exchange of cattle.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is that? I'm just trying to think psychologically. What is that like for the young women that are still living in this situation? I can only imagine that affects her self-worth, right?
Yeah.
She's growing up, and she knows that her father or the elders are viewing her as a almost like a thing. I don't want to say it like
Yeah.
that is to be exchanged for something.
Yeah.
What does that do to a person's psychology? Or is it just accepted?
Okay. It's of course forceful, and the girls are not usually happy about the situation. It's like someone is forcing you into something that you are not ready for. Even if she was illiterate, maybe she would have done some other stuffs before marriage and maybe choose a spouse. But just being forced to be married by someone older, over 20 years or something of the kind, is not really good. And most of the marriages end up breaking because this is not someone whom you really know. You are not comfortable with the person, and maybe how the other family, the in-law family, treats you is not pretty good. You're just been gotten from just a family, and they always tease you that they gave some amount of kettles in your exchange, so you should need to raise your voice to ask for something.
Wow.
Or maybe even speak for yourself. So it's really hard.
So do you remember when your father passed? You were in what, 5th grade?
Yeah.
So he passes, and were they living together, your mom and dad?
Yeah.
And he passes, and is it pretty quickly after that the family came and said, okay, you have to leave, we're taking your cows?
Yeah.
Because the cows are like a bank account, right?
Yeah.
That's your the most valuable things you have.
Yeah.
So your mother has those, and then they're taken.
Yeah, it's after a week after the burial.
A week after the burial.
Yeah, and they're like, no, she no longer belongs to us.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you guys do?
Mom took us to my grandma because they have a big piece of land where they had now to the brothers and the other sisters helped her at least to set up a muddy house, 2-room muddy house.
A mud house?
Yeah, which we had to stay there. And now from there, having a mom having gone through CS to have the 3 of us. By then, after my brother was born, she had an infection with the surgery, so she had to go back for another surgery. So by the time she was leaving there, she had 4 times surgery, the same stomach. Yeah. And
So you said having CS?
yeah.
What is that?
Giving birth through an operation.
Oh, a
C-section,
C-section.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
Was that because she had been circumcised? Why was it 3 C-sections?
because of some health issues during the pregnancy.
Okay.
Yeah, so 3 plus 1, which came after my younger brother was born. So it was really tough for her. At some point, the area is a bit cold in the evenings and early mornings, and waking up at some point, trying to find out ways of sustaining us. And at that moment, my sister was joining high school. Yeah,
She's got no money.
she got totally nothing.
What did she? But your sister went to high school, I know.
Yeah, she was called to a school in Embu, of course. She didn't make there. So there was a high school, day school, which was starting in the nearby area. So mom had to go to the district officer's office to get a letter to allow her to borrow money from house to house. So at some point she will go to a household. Someone will throw some harsh words to her. And she won't lose hope. She will have the courage to go to the next house because she believes in education so much.
Wow.
She believes at some point we are the ones who will come and rescue her from where she is, and at some point support her health as well. So it really meant so much to me. Seeing mom, in the end of the day, she is here. My sister needs to go to school. Mom is here at home. She comes crying at some days because we need to have something to eat. My sister needs to go to school. So she sent my sister to school. She spoke to the school principal and she told him that she will look for some money in the process. So by the time this term is almost coming to an end, and I thank God that the principal was so understanding. She will give her up to the end of the term.
To pay.
Yeah.
Wow,
to
because a
pay.
lot of principals send kids home.
Yeah, because if others were sent home, the school was starting. They were the pioneer.
Oh, that was the first class to
That was
attend
the
that
first
school.
class, so they had to keep the kids in school as the parents as well look for money. And you see, as the school was starting, and those who really went there are the ones from the needy background. Because at that moment, the students were called to the schools from the province, which is a bit
it's a huge province.
Yeah, performing from northeastern. Someone being called to Embu, which is in eastern. So it really meant.
Tell them how far away that is. How long would that take back in that day to get to Embu when the roads were still not good?
Yeah, we had rough roads. So
dangerous
it's like,
roads.
Yeah, and it's dangerous. It was bushy, and there were a lot of due
Bandits.
to the castle rustling. So the roads were not safe. We were going with lorries to other parts, so it wasn't really easy. You can take the whole day. It's rough road. It's not secure. So a whole day, and then you get to Isiolo, another town. So from there you have to go to Meru, to Embu, but
your mom's I know she didn't go there, but that would have been almost
that would
impossible.
have been not really possible for mom. So she just had to give what she can, really. And of course, even that, it is not that she can really afford, but she wants her daughter to go to school. And she knew, now I'm coming up. In the next 3 years, I'll
You're
be done
coming
with
up.
school as well.
Wow.
So
Done
she
with
was so
done with
confused.
8th grade.
Yeah. So
Take us into that. Tell us about you go to 8th grade. You performed well,
yeah.
right? And then what did mom say about you going to school?
Oh, before that, when I was in class 7, and my sister is in high school, yes, I was really performing, but I had to repeat class 7. Because I see where my mom is with my sister, and I would have finished my high school when my sister is still my
Oh, you
high
would have
school.
finished primary when
Yeah.
sister's still in high school. There's no
Yeah.
way your mom could have afforded that.
Yeah.
So you repeated.
Yeah, I repeated in class 7 after getting 358 marks and being the second position in class of 36 to go to grade 8. It was really heartbreaking for me.
I bet.
Yeah, you are a performing student, but it's the situation that makes you repeat the class.
Wow. I don't think people in the U.S. can even imagine that. Having to repeat a class because your family can't afford to have 2 kids in high school at the same time.
At some point, for me, I had to accept because I see the struggles mom is going through. She needs to provide food. Like, personally, even I didn't have a sweater to wear to go to primary school. Like, okay, I see the struggles. My sister needs she needs uniform. She needs something to eat, and the school is far. So at some point, she had to stay with my uncle who lives in town.
Okay.
So that she can get a chance to go to school in the morning and not be late. So at some point, again staying with my uncle, and my uncle had 7 kids. So it wasn't easy for my sister.
That's tough.
Yeah. So mom sometimes need to, at least even if it's some little amount of money, that she can have some snacks when she is at school. She has to look for something because in the morning she's leaving very early. The pupils have not gotten to wake up and prepare anything to go to school, so it wasn't really easy. So reaching to grade 8, I had to work hard because I had one teacher who was my class teacher. She's called Rosemary Rufo. I'm always grateful to what she did to my life. Like, she will always follow up on my progress, and she's like, Asha, do you know what? You know where your mom is coming from? You must get a scholarship to go to high school. Yeah, and she saw the leadership in me at some point because I was in leadership of the school. We had class senators and class governors.
Okay.
From class 7, 8. I was there, and I was also standing up for vernacular speaking, and we really emphasized on English speaking or Swahili, which is possible. So
Because those are your second and third languages.
Yeah.
You grow up speaking your tribal language.
Yeah.
So you were speaking Borana,
Yeah.
but then you learned Swahili, and then you were trying to speak in English.
Yeah.
Wow.
So having her by my side really helped me because she was really pushing me to the wall. Yeah, she wanted me to really work hard and get a good school. So having finished class 8, I became the fourth one in class with a 336 marks, and it was the toughest situation for me because I am at home. I was with my grandmother then, and I could speak about the kids have gone to school, and grandma is like, "There's no hope. Don't even mention about high school."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and of course, having come from the pastoral community, they're like, "Okay, the next thing is you get married off," because by then mom has been exhausted. I think she had her 5th surgery again.
Oh.
So it was really hard. Mom health is not good at all. My sister was struggling, and at least she has completed her high school. And due to lots of struggles, she didn't perform really well.
Okay.
So, and they didn't have enough teachers because the school was starting. So there was a time I had a girl from Daraja called Shamsia. So she went to a neighboring primary school, and the head teacher there there's a school that sponsored Shamsia through high school. So maybe let's try to find out if we can get any application or maybe the way to the school. So in fact, I really didn't knew the school was Daraja, and I was like, I had applied for many scholarships. Like the Lake of Equity, I had gotten 339. Equity were picking girls at 340.
Oh.
It was really sad for me. And at some point,
Well, I'm glad you didn't get it, right?
Yeah.
Because we get your application,
Yeah.
and we go, this sounds like a really interesting girl, and we decided to interview you. So tell us about that day.
Oh, my interview, I remember it was on 9th of February 2015. My first, I had to travel from Marsabit on 8th of February. That was on a Sunday, so we had to leave early. The cars were leaving at around 6:30 a.m. Yeah, so you reach to Isiolo, which is the nearest town, and the interview was taking place there.
And mind you, that's about a 5-hour drive, right?
Oh, from 6:30, I think by then the roads were not yet
Good. Okay,
done.
you're right. Yeah.
So we reached there at around 1 p.m.
Well, okay.
So it wasn't really easy. It was my first very time. I was really nervous. And waking up to the day of the interview, I meet the white people whom I've never. And the English they speak scared me off first at the introduction.
Did it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I was so scared when I was speaking and you are like, boom, Asha, go on. I was like, oh my God.
Who is this
really
loud
so
giant?
blind? Yeah. And when you guys made the introduction and you asked who was to go first, we were 2 girls from the same primary school and we both raised, and she went first. I went the second one, and I was like, oh my God, this is too serious, but I have to speak out because I really need this education. Because by then it was in February. Almost all the girls have reported to school. Some who were in the same class have been married off. Yeah, you will hear in a week's time there is someone's wedding and you were classmates. Someone getting 300 marks and above out of 500 and being married off because the parents have nothing to take the girl to school. It was really sad. So I never wanted to imagine myself in such a situation. So I really had to speak what I had to say. And I thank God. Out of the interview, I went home. I was praying through the session that I was waiting for the feedback. I'm like, if mom phone rang, I will always check. Is this Daraja calling?
Oh, boy. And it's a while, you guys
Yeah.
interview, and then it's sometimes 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because we're continuing to interview.
Yeah.
And you have to finish before you pick your
Yeah.
number of girls.
Yeah.
And back in the day, we were taking 28.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, every phone call, I see, it's maybe, is it Daraja? Mom, is it Daraja calling you?
Oh, man.
And of course, if someone calls in Swahili or in English, she doesn't understand any.
Oh.
Yeah.
She only speaks Borana.
Yeah, she only speaks Borana. I'm like, Mom, did anyone speak another language apart from the one you know?
So then finally, someone does speak the other language.
Yeah.
And what was that call like?
No, it was like on a Wednesday. I
You
wasn't
remember.
home. I wasn't home. So when teacher Victoria called, Mom was like, I'm not home. I'll get back to her. So the following morning, it was on Thursday at around 8 a.m. to 9, somewhere there. I was eagerly waiting for the call. I am having the phone with me. And I receive a call. I'm like, Mom, I just hope this is Daraja.
And?
Then, first, Miss Victoria spoke to me, and then you followed, and you're like, Asha, please don't shout into my ears.
Did I?
Yes. Then I was like, when you told me I got 4-year scholarship at Daraja, I don't know. That feeling, I can't even explain. I already feel it, like it's that day.
Wow. I mean, you remember the day and the time. That's kind of
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, because it really marked the turning point of my life. So I have to recall the day. It's really important.
Tell me,
for life.
what does that mean? It was a turning point in your life.
Not having seen the hope of going to high school, and not even speaking about high school, and everyone has gone to school. In fact, some were coming home for their midterm holiday.
And you were still there.
And you are still at home. So it really meant a lot in my life. Like when the call ended, I was like, thank you, Lord.
Oh, wow.
At least finally, I get to go to school. It was really a good moment for me. I even recall the words you used, like,
No way.
yes.
Tell me. I know you said stop shouting in my ear. I'm sure I said that in a happy way because I love when girls are excited,
Yeah.
right? Wow, that's amazing. So, okay, so here we have this Muslim Borana girl who is going off to a school a long way away in central Kenya in a place that you've never been. Take us to that day.
Oh, the first time I was leaving home, I'm like, you see, my grandmother always told me, don't speak even about the high school things. Like, you see, that day before I left, because we were reporting on 26th of February, we had to leave Marsabit on 25th of February. So, like, in the morning when I was leaving home, Grandma, do you know what? What I have been mentioning is coming true. And I'm sure I am going to high school. She's like, okay, I won't speak now. Let me first see you there. Then
Wow, she didn't believe it.
she didn't.
Wow.
Then she's like, we had to leave home at around 6 a.m. Now getting to Isiolo at around 1 p.m. and finding another vehicle to Nanyuki. We reached to Nanyuki at, I think, at around 5 p.m. and had to stay at Pix Hotel.
I remember.
Yeah, now coming there, we met some other girls who were coming to Daraja as well. And you see, you get to meet strange faces. I'm like, and you see, that day, it was really funny for me because I am so social. I interacted with them. And then they're like, do you know what Daraja uniform looks like? How's the school campus? Everyone was asking that question.
I bet.
And no one knows.
Right?
Yes, I knew Shamsia. I have never seen her in school uniform. I've never got a chance to ask her how is Daraja operating and everything.
Right.
And of course, there was an auntie of mine who was advising me on how I can cope up with bullying in high school.
Bullying.
And,
Yeah. There's
because-
a lot of bullying in high school.
because it is all over Kenya. And then the morning came. In fact, we didn't sleep.
Really?
Yeah, we were
Because you
waiting.
guys were excited?
Yeah, we were waiting for, like, you didn't have hope, but you are waking up to a day that the dream of who you want to become is coming to reality. And then the morning, there's a cab which came for us at the hotel. I'm like, leaving for Daraja. Some few kilometers from town, here we are arriving at Daraja gate, and like the girls were at the gate waiting for the cab, and everyone is like, here is Asha, she's in our family. And then you are receiving lots of hugs, and the moment felt like, I don't know, I expected in high school maybe people are not caring on others coming in, but at Daraja it was really different. Like, there were a lot of hugs, campus tour the moment you arrive, given uniforms. Oh, I don't know how to explain the feeling then, because it was really amazing for me. And then it was on a Thursday. Then in the in the evening, welcome by pilau. And you know, from the background I come from, yes, people love the pilau culture or something of the kind, because at home we can't afford to buy the ingredients and such. Of course, I'll hear of pilau in maybe celebrations, but now this is high school. I'm getting to see people eating pilau. Like,
Wow.
that was really amazing. And then having the family tree. You have a shosh who is like a grandma. You have an aunt, the shosh who is in form 4, an aunt who is in form 3, mom who is in form 2, and the little daughter of the family. And then I was like, what is this? And then I had a twin sister whom we were coming with.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I'm like, how is this Daraja culture? They got family. That's what shocked Ma. She's like, I thought maybe this is a different high school. Like, just normal Kenyan high school where you get in, you girl get your uniforms, wear them, go on with school, and when you get to meet others, they will bully you. And it's so different. Like, everyone is like, you are in family in the evening. They're like telling you what Daraja experience is. They're like, okay, here in Daraja we do things differently, and this is how we do 1, 2, 3. And for the whole week, they are always like, Asha, have you done this? Have you woken up and spread your bed accordingly? It really meant a lot to me. Even in the first week, I saw a lot of love and the bond in the girls, because I'm new in the family.
Sure.
And how they are treating me really made me think differently, even about life. Like, I don't really know them. Like, the Shosh is from a Kalenjin tribe.
And that's more in Western Kenyan, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I have the aunt who is from Central Kenya, a Kikuyu. Then the mom is from Samburu. I'm from Marsabit, a Muslim Borana girl. Oh, and they have never interacted with maybe so closely with the Muslim Borana girls. Even if they had other sisters, and having one in the family really meant a lot to them as well. And having them embrace me, love me, and not caring the background maybe and the story that I have, and we are all sisters, really meant a lot.
That is so cool to hear.
Yeah. And then having come to learn about the Daraja pillars. Having the 4 pillars, it really made a difference in my life. Maybe I start from the backwards, because it's my most favorite pillar. Yeah, pillar number 4, each day leave it better than you found it.
Each day leave it better than you found it.
Yeah.
Why is that your favorite?
Because if I say living each day better than you found it, I have to live myself better. If it's a content in a certain class or a certain subject, I need to find a way of getting better that day. I have to leave my sisters better. I have to leave the school environment better. To me, it applied in all sectors of life.
Wow, that's really cool.
So it's my favorite.
And we're going to get to it, but you're sort of living that pillar every day now.
Yeah.
In university and out of university.
Yeah, it really applies in day to day.
And so just to explain to people what the pillars are, we're not a traditional high school with don't do this, don't do this, don't do this written on the wall. Because I've gone to schools and all their rules are up on the wall.
Yeah. Daraja, I see it's more of a self-driven school because you have to embrace the pillars. It's what we live by on day to day. Like if I say I have to leave the school compound better, there's no teacher who should come for me, Asha. You left this in the school compound, or you didn't pick this, you just passed it. I have to know that, of course, it's my responsibility to pick this up and put in the bin.
You want to hear a cool story? So I was out with about 7 girls 2 weeks ago, and we had some guys with us that were from Nairobi. They were not attached to Daraja. And Victoria brought some snacks, so some little biscuits, little cookies, and she handed them out. And one of the guys just ate it, threw the wrapper on the ground, and 3 Daraja girls went shoom and went to it because it's just kind of in you guys. We've been to sports tournaments where girls were playing against her, throwing stuff on the ground, and the Daraja girls go and pick it up. And what's incredible is I've seen other girls watch the Daraja girls pick things up, and then they pick things up.
Yeah.
So it's almost like leading by example. It's a really neat thing.
Yeah, it's like when we went for the sports, and then you find that people take lots of bread and some of the sodas, the drinks, and then they're like, especially the paper for which they use the bread, they throw it all over. Then after the sports, the girls remain behind, collect all the papers, put them in a bin or maybe ban. Then that's when we leave. Always the Daraja girls leave the last.
Oh,
because
I love
of
that.
Cleaning the compound. It's not our compound, but we need to live there better.
That's so cool.
Yes.
You guys are also very brave when you're out in the community, because we live in a school that's out in the bush, and then when we go to things, you guys are brave, and I know you learned a lot of that in Wish class, right? I mean, how would you describe Wish?
Wish.
Well, what is it for people first?
Yeah, as it is in the initials, women of integrity, strength, and hope. I'm a proud Wish woman because I believe the Wish classes gave me the strength to face the life out there, to cope up with situations, because Daraja picks girls from humble background. So at some point we need to also learn how to adjust to the situations and accept the fact that we come from humble background, and let it not define us, but we use our stories to make the future better. So Wish class taught us several skills, like what I can say on positive motivations and positive affirmation. That is what really stood out for me in the whole 4-year program of Wish, because I believe in affirmation, waking up in the morning and speaking to myself that I gonna conquer the day. Really gives me the energy that if I wanted to be that community leader, one day I will wake up seeing myself doing all the stuff for the community. And when I think about that every morning when I wake up, it gives me energy to go to the class and study hard, because someday I am the one to make the change. So Wish class taught me a lot in person. It really gave me the skills of handling lots of issues like stress management, of which it applies in day-to-day life. There are a lot of skills such as sexual skills. Like there are a lot of
sex ed is pretty involved for Kenya, actually.
And especially coming from a background that really exposes us to a lot of issues in the community. Having come from a pastoralist community where FGM was going on,
female genital mutilation,
and early marriages. So at some point it made me raise my voice and say no, that also my voice matters, and if something is wrong, I need to stand firm on my decision and say this is not good for me, and I am against it in person, and it should not happen to me. So
I want to get there. So because I'm so proud of you, I just can't wait anymore. So you did well at Daraja, right? You graduate, you move on to university where you want to do what?
So I am at Karachi University doing education.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would think you would be an incredible teacher.
So apart from taking education, I am a community leader, a youth leader.
This is what I'm proud of.
Yeah, SGBV, sexual and gender-based violence champion. So getting to the community at some point, yes, I loved my community even before, and I didn't really like what was going on. But Daraja gave us a sense of community service over the holidays from Daraja.
Sure.
So which I went to local dispensary because they had nurses who were there. They were few, yes, but at the same time, the locals can't understand the language which they are using.
They would go to a clinic or a dispensary, but they couldn't communicate with the nurse because they speak their native tongue and the nurses are speaking Swahili.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we were given like 20 hours of community service. I end up doing over 80 hours of community service.
No kidding.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a gap because I go to the dispensary maybe for a week. I try welcoming people at the waiting bay. Then getting into the consultation room, translating the language, that really made me feel like, and then everyone in the community start calling you the daktari, meaning the doctor. Yes.
You know what? That's a sneaky thing that we do at Daraja. We say that that's how you ladies pay for your scholarship, right?
Yeah.
You go out and you're supposed to do 20 hours of community service during your breaks. But what it is we really want to show you that you get back what you put in, right? And that once a person does community service, it kind of becomes a part of you. You start to enjoy giving back because you gain so much.
Yeah.
So you did 80 hours of community service?
More than 80.
Asha, you're amazing. And that translates to what you're doing now. So during your school breaks, you go home to Marsabit.
Yeah.
So Karatina is in central Kenya. You go home to Marsabit and you want to do community service, but there's not really an organization around. So what does Asha Bonya do?
There's an organization which is called World Leaders of Today, and one of its main program is Stand Up, Shout Out, which really does youth empowerment and youth engagement. So I heard about Stand Up, Shout Out through some friends in Nanyuki, so whom I came to learn through my mentors who came to empower us at Daraja. So they were like calling me, Asha, why can't you join like Kipia Stand Up Shout Out organization? Then I'm like, no, do you know what? This needs to be in Marsabit. I had to reach out to the CEO, and I spoke to him. He's like, Asha, are you serious about what you are saying? I'm like, yes, I'm damn serious, and I want this to be in Marsabit. We must have, and that's the word I used, we must have one in Marsabit. He's like, then I will go for it. Yeah, it's already in 38 counties. It's like, Asha, we can make it in 39 counties out of the 47. He's like, yes, this is what I needed.
So you brought an NGO to Marsabit because of your desire to do social work.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because I've seen the photographs. It's amazing.
So we had to find a way of now putting it into action. So we had to launch the organization.
Who's we?
Yes.
Who is we?
The Stand Up Shout Out organization. So we had to involve.
There's some Daraja alumni, right?
I had to involve some Daraja alumni who are from the community. So I have my other sisters. They were ahead of me. So we are now holding our hands. We are 3. I have Daki Duba, who is also a Daraja graduate. Abdia Osman, who is a Daraja graduate. So we had to plan with the organization now on what we can do. I am the director, Stand Up Shout Out Marsabit division, now standing in for the whole county. Daki Duba is my deputy director. Abdia, among the executive, So when we are planning of a project, so we get to involve everyone. So and other youth. So we were looking at how we can first launch and implement projects. So what happened is we launched the organization. We had to invite the county offices,
Okay.
the youth officer, Marsabit, and some also other organizations like the community-based organizations in Marsabit, which are supporting the youths. So we had to bring everyone on board on the launch day and discuss several issues affecting the youths and the possible solutions and how the stand-up shout out can offer solutions to the youths. So after the launch, now we had to figure out which project come as a priority and which one can wait. And about choosing the executive, how can we choose the executive from the county, and we can bring in youth from every other tribe that we can come and see also how we can fight insecurities.
So insecurity being a member of one tribe has a problem with a member of another tribe, and things get violent, right? And there's guns, and it's dangerous. And so you're saying, hey, this has got to stop. Let's bring people together. So that's one of the issues. What are the other issues you've worked on? Because I've seen others.
Girl child empowerment.
Girl child empowerment.
Yeah, especially the menstrual health. So
menstrual health. Okay.
Yeah. So personally, we are getting in touch with other organizations that support the girl child. Like there's an organization currently in Nairobi called the Spread Truth Africa. They help us in giving out the sanitary pads. So we do mentorship in a certain high school or primary school, and at the same time give them sanitary pads, teach them on menstrual hygiene. Yeah, and I can say to this level, it is really making a difference. And I like the fact that even both the men and the ladies in the organization come together when it comes to menstrual health.
Wow.
And then it's like this a natural process. We really need to appreciate it.
They need someone to spark it and
Yes.
bring it together.
Yeah, and we were urging all the community members, like, support your aunt, support your daughter, support your sister, support your mother through the period. Let's end the period stigma.
Did that make men uncomfortable?
Okay, of course, who we have with us are the leaders, and they're like, I think we should go for this.
Wow.
And at some point, if men can advocate about menstrual health, then it really means a lot, because you find out that a man buying a sanitary pad for his sister or his daughter, at some point they really see it's shameful. But bringing it out that in fact these are the people who need to speak to these girls about menstrual health, and there's no shying off, that we need to embrace this natural process, it really means a lot to me.
It means a lot to me. You've done some stuff on FGM too.
Yeah.
Female genital mutilation.
Yeah, in partnership with the Kenya Anti-FGM Board Network, and as well Youth Anti-FGM Network Kenya. So you see, like the Youth Anti-FGM Network Kenya, it uses youth to advocate for FGM and other gender-based violence. So we are here, we come to the communities and let the community decide if really FGM is something good for the community, because it's like they see it's a culture. So we had achieved the Borana community making a declaration that FGM is no longer important.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So next is the Gabra community, of which I think by the end of July we will achieve that. Making education to the people in the community, because 80% of our people are illiterate. So we are like holding the barazas, the small meetings in every village.
You guys are doing that.
Yeah.
You and Daki and Abdia.
We are partnering with the other organization. So we are holding it maybe in weekly.
Oh my goodness.
And teaching the people in the community that this really affects our girls. And as per now, I think the girls who have undergone female genital mutilation are counted as disabled people.
Really?
Yes.
So can I ask you a question that I've always wondered? It blows me away, because I have heard that the people who are the most in favor of FGM, especially, I've heard this in the Maasai community, tended to be the women between 20 and 50 who are sort of saying, like, I did it, you need to do it.
Yes, in fact, they're the ones who are pushing.
So, how is it that there are some people who have been through FGM, but they're warriors against FGM?
Personally, I am a victim. But I don't see any importance of FGM. There are some myths that they say FGM will reduce the sexual pleasure and the girls want to go out having sex here and there and they will be more disciplined. I don't think it is counting.
That's ridiculous.
And it's really hurting when our women are giving birth through the normal delivery. Yeah, so,
because of scarring?
Yeah, and some there are some other types of FGM like the Somali community which they perform.
I know.
So it's really hurting, and
Explain that FGM.
They really cut everything. So and they have to tie you up, and at some point they have to mend the whole area up, and which end up some women having fistula, and it's really sad. And I don't know why some locals still are for it, but now it's making sense to them.
So smart. You're so good.
Yeah, so holding the meeting from village to village, and finally now bringing the elders in the community together and having one-on-one meetings with them, and at the end achieving, it's something so powerful.
Wow, Asha. I am so impressed. And I'll tell you this, you're in your second year at university?
I just completed my second year.
And you were doing that during your breaks?
No, really, sometimes when I'm in session, I rush.
Oh, you were able to do that because of COVID?
Yes, because we were having online classes. So I rushed to Marsabit for 3-day meeting, 3-day training. I come back.
You're one hell of a director.
Yes, I have to. And of course, it's what I love doing. It
feeds your soul.
Yeah, and when I go out there, maybe speak to the girls and they listen to me. At the end of the day, maybe I am tired. I've gone through meetings, achieving this and that. If we achieve a declaration of a community against FGM, that's my happiness.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. And who's the one that says, okay, yeah, this is not good for our community?
The community leaders, like the Borana community.
That's incredible. I can't believe you're accomplishing that. Those are all men.
Yeah, they are. And of course, those who are advocating, most of them are women, and now we are involving the men into it.
That is brilliant.
Because the issue is we are the ones who are facing the issue.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, but we need the men also to hold our hands.
That's so awesome.
So, it really means a lot.
Imagine if you did not go to secondary school.
Oh, most probably.
Look at the loss that the world, it would be a huge loss.
Yeah.
You're changing girls' lives that are not going to go through FGM.
Yeah.
You're trying to stop tribal violence.
Yeah.
And you're not even out in the world working yet.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had not gone to high school. It would have been the biggest waste. And I always say, girls' education is the most effective way to change the world. Yeah. And you are an example of that. So I applaud you.
Thank you.
Man, I adore you. You're just a wonderful human being.
Thank you.
Would you tell people that are listening right now? We have a link, and we also have, the Daraja website. But there's a opportunity for people to help a girl go through Daraja. There's a girl named Martha who's here right now, and she no longer has a sponsor. And we are asking people to donate $30. It costs $220 for Martha to go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah? And so we're asking people just to sign up on the website. There's a page about her. Tell them why that's an important thing to do.
Personally, from my experience of having no hope to go to school, coming to Daraja, that was my happiest moment ever and my turning point. And Daraja, It's a Swahili word which means bridge. And Daraja has truly been the bridge for me and my community as well. Because having gone through Daraja, I see the sense in the community and going back and helping. So I think from my own experience, you support Martha, you are supporting her community. Because she is the change who the community needs. She is the change her family needs. So let's support Martha. Let's make her education successful. Let's make her dream come true. Let's make her community shine through Martha. Yeah.
You know what? We're going to wrap it up on that. Asha, thank you for being on Daraja Means Bridge. It means a lot to me.
Thank you for being my bridge.